All right, so this is going to be the demonstration for the blue guy, green guy, lab 11. All right, so we're going to start at station 1. So station 1 is showing the Earth and the sun here. So we're going to be analyzing the Earth and the sun, and I just want to point some basic stuff out. You can see that the lit side of the Earth is facing the sun, right? And we can also see the tilt of the axis, right? If the axis is this right here, right? And the axis goes all the way down to the bottom axis, it is tilted towards the sun. So whenever it's tilted towards the sun, we are going to be experiencing summer in New York because that sun is not directly overhead, but pretty close to it. So for the start of this lab, we're going to have placing blue guy at 30 degrees north. 30 degrees north, so here's the equator. 30 degrees north is going to be here. And the green guy at 30 degrees south. So that is here. And I'm going to face them so that they're as close to the sun as possible, right? So you're going to be answering the questions based on the images you see. You can see green guy has a really long shadow. The blue guy has a very short shadow. It's almost right underneath him, right? You're also going to be drawing the axis based on the Earth and the sun's position. So you may want to pause the video just so you can see this stuff and you can answer those first questions. The second part of station 1, we're going to move blue guy to the North Pole and green guy to the South Pole. So blue guy's at the North Pole, green guy's at the South Pole. So you can see that the blue guy is in the sun and green guy is in the shade. If green guy was a real life human, he wouldn't be sticking out so far. But point is, if I turn the Earth, the North Pole stays in the sunlight, while if I turn the Earth, the South Pole stays in the sunlight. So when the axis is tilted towards the sun, the North Pole is in 24 hours of sunlight. That means the sun never sets at the North Pole until we reach the equinox. Okay, so that's station 1. You should go through those questions. You may have to go back in the video. This is going to be station 2. Station 2. So for station 2, we have an actual model of the Earth. And we can see the sunlight is on the left. And here is our axis, right? So our axis is going to be tilted away from the sun, right? The northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. And we have our lines of latitude. So these lines of latitude, this 0 line is the equator, and it runs across like that. And the lab is telling us to place blue guy, which in this case, I don't have a blue guy, I ran out of blue guys. So we're gonna call it gray guy. Gray guy is gonna be 15 degrees north. So if I look here, this is 0, the equator. This is 23.5 degrees north. So 15 is gonna be somewhere around here. But I want to keep it on the sun side, so I'm going to put the guy right here. Still between the 0 and the 15 line, but now in the sunlight. And green guy is going to go at 60 degrees north. So 60 degrees north is just beneath here, and again, I'm going to put him in the sunlight side. And based on this, you should be able to answer those questions. You may want to pause the screen. And then down at the bottom of the lab, once you get here, we're going to place blue guy and green guy on the South Pole. So I just want to point this out, this area here. Here's the sun, here's the Earth. I drew this one in wrong for the station 2. That's why I erased it. You can see the Earth is tilted towards the right or away from the sunlight. So our line should actually go like this. From this way, right? 23.5 degrees tilted this way. Not like this. You can see that I erased it. But I'm going to place blue guy or gray guy at the North Pole and green guy at the South Pole. And this is going to be the opposite of station 1, where no matter how much I turn the Earth, this guy is always going to be in the sunlight. This guy is always going to be in the dark. And we can see the split here between the light and the dark side of the Earth. Even if we spin the Earth, this gray guy is going to be in the darkness. All right, let's go to station 3. So here's station 3. We've got the sun over here, and we've got the Earth. So I'm gonna fix this to make it perfect. You can see here that the axis is tilted still, right? But in this case, it's not tilted. It's not tilted towards the sun, and it's not tilted away from the sun. Is that Coach Mac?
The sun.
I'm recording a video real quick.
Okay.
This is tilted away from the sun, and we're neither tilted towards nor away from the sun. So every time we have the axis tilted not towards or away from the sun, we experience spring or fall. So these are the first day of spring and fall. These are called equinoxes. So I'm gonna put blue guy at 15 degrees north and green guy at 60 degrees north, like that. Boom. Okay, so we can see that blue guy has the sun almost directly overhead, while green guy is more at seeing the sun at an angle. He's actually pointing towards the sun there. So you'll be able to answer the questions based off of that, and you can also see their shadow lengths. Blue guy has a very short shadow. Green guy's shadow goes almost forever. And now again, I'm going to, oops, I messed this one up. I messed this up. Mackie threw me off. Sorry, you guys can forget what I just said. We're just going to be placing blue guy at the equator. Still the same idea, so it works out. Blue guy at the equator and green guy at 42 degrees north, which is pretty much the same thing as New York. And you can answer those basic questions about the shadow length and who's going to have the sun directly overhead. That's pretty obvious. Blue guy would have the sun directly overhead. And then you can draw the tilt. So the tilt is not going to be tilted towards the sun or away from the sun. It's just going to be tilted out into space. So pretty much straight up and down. And we have one final station here. So here you can see that axis. If we have the sun, the axis is tilted away from the sun. So this is going to be our winter. If you look at New York here, New York is really, really high up, and you can see that it's almost on the dark line here. So if we have this dark line between the lit and the dark side, New York is almost there. So we experience the sun being very, very low in the sky. Let me just get this lab. So I need to place blue guy on New York. Boom. There's blue guy on New York and facing the sun. So if you were blue guy in New York, you would be in winter, right? Because the axis is tilted away from the sun. So what this is asking is if you fly to Sao Paulo, Brazil. So let's imagine green guy. Let's put green guy in Sao Paulo, Brazil. If you're green guy and you got the sun almost directly over your head, on this day it actually is directly over Sao Paulo, Brazil, because it's on the Tropic of Capricorn. What would you pack if you flied from blue guy to where green guy is? Okay, so that's going to be station 4. That's the blue guy, green guy lab. And if you have any questions, just hop on the Zoom and let me know. Thanks.